Welcome to the fourth episode of Ask Your Excel Question. In this week's episode, we will learn how to use the checkbox form control. Specifically, we will learn how we can receive input from the user using the checkboxes and store them as specific values. For example, here, the user gets to choose which days of the week are weekends. So I've chosen Sunday and Saturday. If in my company, only Sunday is a weekend day and all other days are working days, then I would just check the box Sunday for weekend. And so in this video, we will learn how we can create this and set this up. Now let's get started. So now we have a blank workbook. We're going to start from scratch. So I'm going to just type day, and then I'm going to type in Sunday through Saturday, and that's the first step. The second step is we're going to select whether they are weekends or not. So if you already don't have a developer ribbon, so I'm going to go here and then customize the ribbon. And so if in case you do not have the developer ribbon enabled or selected, so please make sure that you do that. And once you do that, it'll come up in your screen. So if you don't have it, please make sure that you come in here and add the developer ribbon to your window. And now you have the developer window. Now you can go to Insert and then Checkbox Form Control. And what I'm going to do is to click here and then drag, and then it creates the checkbox here. And the next thing I'm going to do is to, you can do right click, edit text, and make sure that you delete whatever text is there, because usually it's not very easy to format that text as we need. So I prefer to not have any text at all. Instead, what I would like to do is to use this text that we have already entered as the labels. Okay, so now we have the checkbox, and now we need to connect this to a cell. Right click, format control, and this will allow you to link the specific checkbox to a cell. And so in this case, I'm going to choose D5, which is the cell right next to Sunday. So I'm going to hit OK. And now this checkbox is linked to the cell D5. And if you see here, I've selected the checkbox. The checkbox is named checkbox 1. You can rename it if you want. And then you can also see that it's linked to the cell D5. Now, if I click somewhere, I have to click somewhere else because now I'm kind of editing the checkbox, so I can't really show the functionality. So I'm going to first click outside, and then when you hover your mouse over it, it'll now change the cursor. So you can see that I can click it, and now it says true. When I don't, it says false. So now you have enabled a checkbox to control true or false for this cell. And the next thing we want to do is to do this for all the other days. So I would recommend kind of selecting the cell D5, Control C to copy, and then select all of these cells, and then do Control V, and then that basically pastes everything in there. And then since we only have a few, we will go into the format control, and you can see that all of them have D5. And so what we're going to do is change this to D6, or you can use the mouse to select. For example, I'm going to select D7. That's for Tuesday. And then we would do this for Wednesday. And we only have 3 more. So the idea that this can be used in if you want to build some type of calendars where you want to highlight specific days which are weekends in a different color, or if you want to do some calculations where you don't want to include or you want to include or you don't want to include the weekends, then you can use this type of true or false kind of setup, so that if a person selected is true, you can use it in the subsequent calculations accordingly. So there are many use cases for this. So now that we have all the checkboxes for every day, so now one thing I like to do is to if I don't want to show the true or false, because I already have a checkbox which indicates whether it's true or false, now I would like to change the font color to white for these cells. And now let me hide the grid lines. So now you'll see that they actually appear like a good input mechanism where people can just say, okay, my Saturday and Sunday are weekend days. So that's how easy it is for us to create checkbox controls and use it effectively to drive our calculations. So now, one thing to keep in mind is that this is not available yet in Excel Online. So if you're using Excel Online or the web version of Excel, then this may not work. So in that case, I would recommend you watching the drop-down list video where we talked about how you can use a drop-down list to control the inputs, where in this case, you will create a drop-down list which will show the values true or false. And so the user can get to choose true or false. So watch that video if you want to use it to create a drop-down list and then use it in online version of Excel as well. So if you have any further questions on this topic, please post them in the comments. If you have any suggestions for the next video of our video series, also please post them in the comments. I really look forward to reading your comments and also finding new problems to write solutions for. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe. I'll see you all in the next episode of Ask Your Excel Question. Thank you very much for watching.